Hello, 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 hello. Get in here, get in here. Let's talk. Let's talk. Bonjour, bonsoir, bon après-midi. Venez, 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 on va discuter juste un peu là. On va se dire bonjour entre nous. Come on, let's talk. Hello, 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 hello. Que j'ai des images là. Oh là là. C'est ça mon fiston. C'est ça mon fiston. Congratulations. Can we talk? Can we discuss about women? Can we discuss about women today? Today is Women's Day. We are celebrating Women's Day. I don't think so. It's not my cup of tea. I don't like it. C'est ça qui s'agit. Ok. J'espère que vous allez bien. Connexion. On a un problème de connexion là ou quoi? On a un problème de connexion. Comme d'habitude, tu dois commencer à partager d'abord. En attendant 1-2 personnes. Comme ça qu'il faut faire d'abord. Bonjour, bonsoir, bon après-midi. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hope we are all doing well. Let's see them. Ouais. How are we? Bonsoir à ceux qui me guettent déjà. J'espère que vous allez bien. J'espère que vous allez bien. Ceux qui me guettent déjà. Good evening to the person that's watching me right away. Hope you are doing well. Hope you are doing well. As for me, I'm okay. All is good. Bonsoir à ceux qui me guettent déjà. J'espère que vous allez bien. J'espère que vous allez bien. Hello, good evening to those that are watching me. Hope people are doing well. Just give me some few minutes. Let me do something here. Trying to catch up with some people. Trying to catch up. C'est Sandrine. There are some of my people I need to signal them. I don't know if I've done it already or not. Very clear. Okay. Bonjour, bonsoir, bon après-midi. Super fun. Hello. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Get in here, let's talk. Bonjour, bonsoir, bon après-midi. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. I don't know whatever time, anytime they're going to watch me. Whatever time you're going to follow my video, just accept greetings from my own side. If you're watching me for your first time, I'm called Mo AjockFélicitations. Mo AjockFélicitations, it's just a long phrase. Mo AjockFélicitations. I cannot hide my name because if you go to my website, you'll discover where I am completely. So it's my civil name. It's not the artistic name. It's a name. It's just my full name. That's me. It's real me. Today we are going to talk about. Today I'm presenting myself like a digital coach. I'm here to talk about. Let's talk. Today we are sharing our Women's Day. We are on Women's Day week. Bonsoir fiston. Merci d'être là. Toute première personne pour le commentaire. Merci d'être là. Today we are going to talk about Women's Day. Women's Day, I said it yesterday. I explained myself in French yesterday. So we are going to bring a summary in English because I don't want to forget where I'm coming from. I'm a Cameroonian. Cameroon is bilingual. And even though Cameroon is bilingual, I'm from the English region. So I'm not from the French region. But you say when you go to Rome, you do what the Romans do. So what I always do now is because I speak French first because I'm in France. If not, I just need to do what Romans do. Is because I'm in France, I speak French before. So guys, if you're watching me for your first time, know that I'm called Mo AjockFélicitations. I'm your digital coach. Today we are going to share. Good evening, mom. How are you and how was your day? Wow, hey, c'est bien ça, fiston. Oh, moi je t'aime bien. Je t'aime beaucoup, mon petit. Aujourd'hui, tu as décidé de ça, c'est pour défier maintenant l'ouragan, pour parler en anglais. J'espère qu'elle va venir voir ça. Je sais pas, oui, je pense que je l'ai même taguée. C'est parce qu'elle est au travail. Tu as défié l'ouragan hein, quand tu parles en anglais. Donc, je suis content de voir comment tu écris en anglais. Ça me doit que c'est bon. Français, parce que français, c'est 5e ou bien 5e ou 4e langue du monde. Hein. Donc, anglais est devant français. So, guys, we are going to explain ourselves in English because we want to talk about Women's Day. Yes, I explained all this about Women's Day, how the origin of Women's Day, how did Women's Day come to before. But before I go for Women's Day, I want to celebrate one great woman on social media. I want to celebrate one solid woman on social media. I want to talk of a woman that is focused, determined, at least passionate about what she's doing. Aujourd'hui, avant de parler des journées de la femme en anglais aujourd'hui, puisque j'ai fait ça hier en français, je veux aussi donc journée à moi pour qu'on fête aussi une dame sur notre réseaux sociaux, l'une des stars Brakata, dont le numéro 9 de stars Brakata sur les réseaux sociaux, dans le côté camerounaise, dont le numéro 1, notre numéro 1, donc on va le célébrer aujourd'hui parce que au moins son trophée aussi tombe très bien, c'est pour l'encourager, que quand une femme est déterminée, focus. Donc, quand tu aimes ce que tu fais, chaque chose que tu veux faire, mets toute ton énergie, tout ton amour, mets tout ton temps avec, tu auras les résultats. Elle vient juste de commencer avec l'histoire de promotrice, mais elle est déjà commencé à avoir le trophée de meilleure promotrice au diaspora. Ce n'est pas c'est parce qu'elle a une bonne, ce n'est pas seulement à cause de son fanbase. Parce que avant que le fanbase des abeilles réagisse par rapport à ça, I'm not perfect, but I'm getting there. That's good, little by little. C'est très bien, merci beaucoup. I'm happy to read that. Donc, ce n'est pas parce que elle a une bonne fanbase, ce n'est pas parce que les abeilles sont là pour voter. Avant que les abeilles votent, on a d'abord reconnu que ça doit être l'une de elles était nominée, parce qu'avant qu'on te nomme, avant qu'on te choisisse, que tu mérites d'abord. Maintenant, on ne peut pas avoir tout le monde, on va sélectionner les meilleurs d'abord. C'est ça qu'on dit nomination et maintenant on peut voter parmi les meilleurs. Donc le fait qu'elle est devenue numéro 1, ce n'est pas parce que, oui, les fanbases sont là. Félicitations pour tous les abeilles et sympathisants qui ont voté pour la MAFO. Pour avoir ces trophées. Voilà notre trophée de ce week-end pour les journées de la femme. Elle mérite ça. Quand je dis mérite, ce n'est pas parce que nous les abeilles, on allait voter. Oui, avant que les abeilles allaient voter là-bas, avant qu'on allait voter, ce n'est pas les abeilles qui ont sélectionné, mettre son nom parmi les nominés. C'est ça que les gens devaient comprendre. Une fois que ton nom est parmi les gens qu'on a nominés aussi. Bonsoir Angie Kat. Une fois que ton nom est parmi les gens sélectionnés pour une compétition, ça veut dire que tu mérites ces positions. Mais maintenant, qu'est-ce qui bouscule maintenant? C'est que tout le monde ne peut pas être le meilleur des meilleurs. Donc, ce sont les meilleurs qu'on sélectionne et maintenant, les meilleurs des meilleurs résultats. Donc, Flore de Lille, cette année 2025, le meilleure promotrice 2025 diaspora, c'est Flore de Lille. Elle mérite, non seulement que parce qu'on a voté, au moins on a vu les résultats, on voit ça sur. Ce n'est pas les choses qu'on filme une petite salle, on vient présenter. Elle mérite ça 100%. Nous tous, on connaît les conditions qu'elle a fait cette soirée, tous les chantages, tous comment on appelle, tout ce qui s'est passé avec le boycott et tout ça, et malgré toute cette histoire, toute cette tension, toute cette négativité, la femme était capable de remplir une salle de plus de 1500 personnes. C'est ça qu'on dit. Félicitations Flore de Lille, félicitations Reine Mère pour être le meilleur des diaspora positifs de 2025, des LGBC Bank. Donc c'est pour dire quoi? Tu mérites. Les autres n'ont pas aussi démérité, mais le point c'est qu'il faut aussi avoir une première position. On ne peut pas avoir deux premières positions et c'est toi parce que tu es numéro 1. Donc tu n'es pas seulement numéro 1 parce que tu es la première personne de venir sur la toile de Stam Brakata, mais tu es numéro 1 all round, donc partout. Et rendez-vous pour tous ceux qui seront là sur TikTok demain pour lui avec, comment on appelle le tout? Pour Cam. Donc pour tous ceux qui sont là-bas, les fans de TikTok, allez aussi demain, à partir de 18h, pour au moins montrer aussi que le trophée là, on n'a pas triché, c'est pas mérite. Flore de Lille, on ne triche rien. C'est pas mérite. Puisque même il y a les faux profils, il y a les gens qui ont les abonnés, et les abonnés sont de là-bas les milliers, mais quand on parle des actes réels, on ne voit pas ces abonnés. Il y a les gens qui ont les abonnés en obscurité, quand c'est pour mettre les projets en action, on ne les voit pas. Donc, mais quand on dit des abeilles, ce sont les gens soit en obscurité ou bien en physique. Ce sont les gens tenaces. Donc, félicitations une fois de plus, Flore de Lille. Félicitations pour nous tous, les abeilles. Félicitations pour tous les sympathisants aussi. Donc, c'est-à-dire, notre yam-sœur, yam-tante et tout. Félicitations à tous ceux qui ont mis les votes. C'est pas amour, pas par tricherie. C'est au moins, c'est comme ça que le bon travail, ça paye. Les gens n'ont pas la patience de faire quelque chose. Quand vous voulez faire quelque chose, comme j'ai dit sur le temps, il faut avoir le focus. Il faut aimer ce qu'on est en train de faire. Il faut être déterminant de ce qu'on est en train de faire. Tout ce qu'on met, même si c'est de l'eau que tu veux vendre, montre aussi la pauvreté, montre l'ambiance, montre aussi la valeur. Il faut valoriser ce que tu fais. Quand ils se lèvent le matin pour prendre les trams, le bus, les métros, les trains, pour aller vendre une billet, deux billets, on a en train de nous insulter que c'est le truc de village, c'est les tontines, c'est les histoires, époque sur la pluie, sur le, donc soleil et neige. Elle est là pour aller vendre ses billets. Déjà minimise ces petits gouttes-là qui a rempli aussi une salle. Et en plus maintenant, elle est le meilleur de 2025. Donc félicitations notre reine, mais félicitations Flore de Lille et félicitations pour tous les abeilles. Donc ça c'était entre parenthèses. Au moins on a un cadeau pour la journée de la femme. Donc on est en train de célébrer aussi une grande dame sur les réseaux sociaux. Le prime numéro 1 dans le stamp Brakata. Le numéro 9. Les étoffis sur Facebook. Félicitations Flore de Lille et félicitations à tous les abeilles. C'est vrai que nous ne sommes pas tellement trop sur ma page parce que ma page ce n'est pas, je suis une abeille mais ma page ce n'est pas étonnée par les abeilles, mais ce n'est pas grave pour tous les petits abeilles là qui vont voir. Pour l'un tu peux aussi partager le message aux autres. Au moins c'est pour les félicitations et féliciter aussi en plus. Je sais que ma page n'est pas trop abeille, mais ma page c'est général, c'est pour tout le monde qui aime aussi sa santé. Donc mais pour le peu des abeilles qui me regardent, pourquoi je sais les messages. Pour Flore de Lille, j'ai déjà posté et je sais comment je vais lui dire félicitations aussi en privé, mais quand même, on ne cache pas les choses comme ça. Quand un travail est bien fait, on doit aussi féliciter, on doit aussi fêter. C'est nos efforts, apprécions. Il faut qu'on apprécie aussi nos efforts. Donc, merci pour tous les abeilles. Ok, bref, on a fini avec ça. Aujourd'hui, on va parler des journées de la femme. So, guys, we are going to talk about Women's Day. We said it in French hier. On a tout dit hier. J'ai fait un petit sommet de Women's Day. The one and only, c'est ça. C'est elle seule. C'est elle la numéro 1. Il y a les gens qui rêvent dans les têtes. Il y a les gens qui vivent la stamania sur les têtes. À cause de l'IA. On les pose n'importe quelle fois. Ils sont contents de ça. Donc, ils sont en train de rêver. Flore de Lille ne rêve pas. Flore de Lille est en train de réaliser. Certains gens sont encore là pour rêver. Ils sont en train de rêver qu'ils sont bien. Ils sont bien présentables. On ne mange plus la présentation. On ne mange plus les photos liées. On mange les actions. Maintenant, on a quitté le clash, les rêves. Maintenant, on est en train de réaliser les rêves. On est dans le truc de réalisation. C'est ça qu'on est là maintenant. Les gens sont en train de vivre, ils ne savent pas que quand le rose, quand on achète le rose, c'est un fleur. C'est quand on met dans l'eau, il y a certains qui sont fermés. Comment je peux vous montrer ça? Il y a certains fleurs qui sont fermés. Je ne peux pas enlever ça. Il y a certains fleurs qui sont fermés. Il y a certains, quand on met dans l'eau, ça va ouvrir. Donc, le rose, le fleur, c'est quelque chose qui s'abrite, mais ça a un temps. Quand ça pousse, vous voyez comment c'est beau à voir. Quand ça commence à fleurir aussi, ça ouvre aussi le pétale aussi. On voit comment c'est beau, mais à un certain temps, ça va sécher. La couleur va encore commencer à devenir fade. Donc, ça va commencer à diminuer aussi sa beauté. Donc, ceux qui pensent que les 30 ans et 40 ans étaient la même chose pour les cinquantaines, les 60 ans qui sont en train d'aller là-bas. Ils croient que c'est la même chose. Non. Les temps changent et les gens changent. Et aussi, les rêves aussi doivent changer. Quand on augmente l'âge, sache que le rêve aussi doit changer. C'est ce que les gens n'ont pas compris. Je vois que les gens sont censés se tromper sur les réseaux sociaux. Ils se prennent toujours poster les anciennes photos. Au lieu d'aller d'avancer, ils sont en train de rétrograder plutôt. On avance. Donc, pour quelqu'un qui ne comprend pas qu'il doit avancer, tant pis pour la personne. Donc, félicitations une fois de plus, Flore de Lille et tous les abeilles. Speak English, mom, perfect. Even though English is not good. Okay, that's nice. So, guys, today we are going to talk about the origin of Women's Day. Why do I always choose this period? I know last year I didn't talk much, but the other years I've been talking about Women's Day, Valentine's Day, all these feasting that we are feasting all the time. It's nice to really, these are Comoria. We are trying to commemorate, or we are just trying to celebrate those who fought for this day. It's an International Women's Day. Why is it international? Why are we having the 8th March? Why are we having this date? Is it a day that they just say that women should go and buy their materials, go and feast, do all crazy stuff, be dishonest with their husband, create problems that they don't do anything in their house because it's their day? Is that the reason for us celebrating International Women's Day? So today we are going to talk about Women's Day. How did this Women's Day come to? How did it come that we are celebrating now? Was it the origin of it? We did not just sit and then just put it in the calendar. Any public holiday or any celebration that are doing internationally or nationally, there should be a reason for that day to be celebrated. So if you're having International Women's Day, it therefore means there was something happened for that day to be remembered. Something happened for people to come every time that we are celebrating it every week, 8th March. There was something, there's a story behind. So that's why I want us to just talk about the short story to remind people, remind us, the women, that Women's Day is not only for you to go and buy materials, buy clothes, then go and be drunk, eat, and it's nice to celebrate and recommend those, to memorize that day, to respect that day, to at least make some feasting, but we should not overdo it and forget the main reason for that. So what's the origin of Women's Day? You know, before they give you something, they don't just give liberty for people like that. Something must happen for you to be recognized. Before you have liberty, they say, how do they call it? Liberty is not given. Freedom is not given for free. Before you to have freedom, you need to take it by force, or you need to be determined. You need to at least prove to somebody that you merit what you want. So for somebody to be given that liberty, freedom is not given for free. Freedom is something, either you merit it, and before you merit it, you need to prove to the others that this is what you want. You need to be determined to have that freedom. They don't just give you like that. So if you have any days that are being celebrated, there's a story behind those dates. So Women's Day, 8th March, has a story. It's because women also discovered that they were marginalized. There were people that they were just suppressed. They were not even recognized. And then they had to do some mobilization. They had to do some mobilization to mobilize themselves, to decide to go on strike. And when they went on that strike, it didn't just stop like that. It was not just like a one-day strike. It's not that they went this year and make a strike and then they sat quiet and say, we've already asked for that Women's Day, it should be given to us. No, it was something, it was a persistent something that was being done all the time, currently, to remind their population or the states that this is what we want. We merit this. So because of that mobilization, in the American continent, or from the US, as well as the European continent, some European countries, as well as the American continent, they decided to at least to make sure that this day is being seen. But again, people ask themselves that, why is it that people always know that women have too much time when it comes to the American continent? Bonsoir, Mama Lily. Bon fait de la femme. The women already know that. They'll say, but why is that women have too much power, so too much regards in the American continent, or as well as the European continent, more than the African continent? Yes, it is true that women have too much rights. It's not like powers. They have some certain rights that we are still struggling to have it in Africa. But it does not mean that because we are struggling to have it in Africa, that will make the American continent or the European continent more than Africa. I won't accept that. I want us to understand that even though Africa, we still have some violence concerning women, some maltreatment concerning women, some disregard concerning women, does not mean Africa is really backward. We should understand that there's a difference between this mobilization, this strike that was going on, that women were fighting for equality, they were fighting for good working condition, or the rights to vote. They are two different things. African continent remains the chosen continent. That's what I know. And let me explain why I think about that. I say so. When we talk of civilization, they'll say that Africans, we are like animals, we are backward, we don't know anything. But people should understand that civilization started in Africa. Civilization did not start in America, it did not start in Europe. People should understand that civilization did not start in Africa, nor in Europe. Sauf que tu parles en anglais. Oh, maman Lily, hier j'ai fait les journées de la femme en français hier. Je ne pense pas que tu étais là hier. Donc, je dis quand même, je vais parler ça parce que demain, il ne sera pas sur les réseaux sociaux. Je peux aussi laisser mes soeurs aussi anglophones pour ne pas aussi parler ce que j'ai dit hier. Hier, c'était journée de la femme en français. Aujourd'hui, c'est en anglais. Mais comme tu es là, il faut juste m'accompagner. Même si tu ne comprends rien, il faut envoyer le cœur. Il faut m'accompagner si tu es libre. Merci. Je t'envoie à l'école, non? Tu n'as pas vu mon fils. Ton fils est en train d'écrire maintenant. Il est en train de défier le raga. Il écrit maintenant en anglais. Ça va faire rire. Je dis, c'est bien aussi. So when I'm talking about civilization, people should not think that Africa, we are really backward because our countries are not developed. Development is a whole different story. And the reason why Africans are not well developed is another story. It's a different episode. There's a different story about that. Why we are less developed like the other countries. But you should understand that when you talk of civilization, civilization means knowledge. Civilization means something you know. Civilization means at least you know your left from right. So if civilization started in Egypt, where is Egypt from? In Africa. So it doesn't mean that African women are still maltreated. African women are still unrecognized. It does not mean that because African women are not really being respected when it comes to job, voting rights, some kind of ministerial post or all these governmental posts, does not mean that we are not civilized. It doesn't mean that because human rights, women rights started in the US, the American continent or the European continent means that they are more than us. The only thing I understand the European continent or the American, they are more than us is because of the infrastructure. And how do they do to grow to this infrastructure? That's a different page. Today we are going to talk about how did these women obtain their rights, like International Women's Day, 8th March. This is what we are going to talk about. How did this name come about? Why is that the women? That's why you see even the Americans, you see women will always call police. If they are not satisfied with their men, they'll just create another kind of problem and call police to come and pick up their men and go and jail them. Then after that, they start to look for custodies or ask the men now to be paying child court. How do they call this? I think their childbed fee. I don't know how they call it. It's the same thing in the European continent. When we start everything, women has the right. They can just call police and put their men into place when they are not satisfied. Everything has an advantage and disadvantage. But why is that African ladies, we are still back when it comes to treatment? Oui, j'ai fait ça hier. Non, mais tu t'excuses pourquoi? C'est que tu es occupé, non? J'ai fait ça hier. Mais j'étais avec les autres, avec tes enfants là. Hier, on a passé un bon moment hier. Tu te regardes sur les... Hier, je ne sais pas, mon image était tellement sombre, je ne sais pas. Oui, là aussi, ça me donne un petit réflexe de la lumière. Je n'ai jamais arrivé ça hier. C'était un peu sombre. So, guys, think of how the African continent is still the continent that wants to respect creation. Because the Bible was brought to the African continent to make us to say, okay, respect the 10 commandments, respect the law of the Lord, respect what the Creator did for us. In Genesis, we understand that when God created this earth, He created it on the seed He created man in His own image. After the creation of a man, He discovered that the man could not do anything further alone. He discovered that the man needs a companion. That's why He made that man to fall asleep, remove the man's rib, and make a woman. When God created woman, He made us understand that we are a substitute. We are a companion to that man. So that man's life could not have any meaning without this woman. It's just like when you're writing a sentence, if you don't put a full stop, you just continue writing. There's no question mark. You don't have abbreviation. You don't have comma. You don't break the sentence or you don't put full stop. That sentence will never have any meaning. So women are considered like full stop. Full stop in terms of creation. And when God made it, this Adam and Eve, what did they do? They decided to disobey God again. through disobedience, God made a promise to them. God made Adam and Eve to understand, Adam, that as from today, you work hard for a woman. You'll be working hard to furnish a woman, and you need to love that woman and respect. And then he told the women, you should be submissive to your husband, and you need to love him. And then know that your own punishment is when you are giving child, during childbirth, you have the highest pain in your life. Because Africans, we are under Bible study or what, because we want to respect the Creator. That is why African is still behind this issue of Women's Day. It's behind this women's writing, not because you are not civilized enough. Because Africans is still a continent that is still God-fearing. Africa was still dealing with chiefdom, kingdom, not democracy. And because of that, we still have to respect the issue of be submissive to your husband. You are a companion, and the husband needs to go out and go and work and go and fetch the woman and then bring it home. That's why that thing is still relaxed. But now what is going on? If you want to follow the American continent or the European continent to fight for this International Women's Day, we just need to struggle for our own country now to be shouting to the government and say, we also need this right, we want to vote. Actually, the African women, they are voting now. So we have profited to these people that brought the origin of International Women's Day. We are also profiting to it. But there's another thing that is still really backward when it comes to the African women. This mutualization, this maltreatment, this, I don't know how I can, submission, make it to where that women education is not still versed when it comes to women. They will not allow them to go to a certain level of education or certain kind of field of studies because they are all women. That's another thing that is still lacking. But I believe with time, but just because the African continent are still God-fearing people, they still struggle to respect the Creator. That's how the way I think. I didn't read it anyway. But that's why through my own knowledge when it comes to Bible studies or what I'm seeing now, that's the only way I can explain to you why African we are still behind. We are not behind because we are not civilized. We are not behind because you don't know good from right. We are not behind because they brought Bible to keep us dormant with it. And now we hooked on that Bible, and now we are struggling to respect our Creator. That's why women are still behind. Because in the Bible says, women will remain substitute. You will respect your husband. You are a companion to that one. We are not equal to your husband. And then the husband will go out there, will work hard for a woman. That's why men will go and get into all kinds of sects. Kill, steal, destroy, just to have that name, status, money to look for a woman. Because all what a man is doing in his life, all what he wants to do, he's looking for his honor and happiness. And where does he think he needs that happiness? Is towards a woman. A man that was chatting women when he was young and he did not have money. He looks for beautiful girls in school, in the quartier, and he could not go out with those girls because he was poor by then. He would do everything to become rich because he wants to go back and chat those same women and say, you know what, now I have money, can you get into my car? And that's all. So men will go and work hard, will do everything to have money to do. So all what a man does in his life is to impressionate a woman, is to make that woman to become that, how do they call it, the man's pride is always in them. They just want to feel man by controlling us. That's how I look at it. If African, we are still behind. What I'll request to the African women is towards the end of this thing. So, but let's talk about the origin. Mobilization started in the US, started in a European country, where women started reivindicating, struggling to fight for something, starting to request for something in their life. They said that, okay, no, you know what? As one of these ladies, one of the Dutch woman from Germany, she's called Clara, I don't really know the other name, Z King or what, Z King Clara, during one of the International Women's Union, being a socialist by then, just come up with an idea, say, but why can't you also insist for these people to commemorate this day, to concentrate one day for it to be our own day, for our own right? Because they started talking about the right of a woman, and then they said, but let's come. Clara said, no, you know what? Let's try and see if we can ask the government to recognize this day, to concentrate just this day for us. When they were making their union, International Socialist Women Union. She brought up that idea. And then the other women, they bought into it and said, no, you know what? Let's go for it. Because before anything comes to history, something must start it somewhere. Somebody must come with that idea for it to be put into place. And then they need to fight for it, because you don't just bring an idea, it's still on the table. For anything to reach the National Assembly, for anything to enter the constitution of a country, it therefore means that work hard for it. You must have shown to the government or to the country that you people merit it. That's how this woman, a German lady, brought up this idea, and then they started copying it. That was in the 20th century. They started copying it. As it was going every year and year, that's why the Russian also, in the Petersburg, in their capital, Petersburg, women also started their own strike. That's when you had this. From there, they started accorded. I think it was 1917, that from the Russian, from Petersburg, from Russia, they brought this Women's Day, the 8th March. They started commemorating that day for now. That's how they started commemorating that date for people, for giving them that right, accord them that right. But the right by then, because when women were reivindicating, looking for something, they had 3 things that they were looking for. They had 3 fundamental reasons for them trying to fight for this Women's Day. They were looking for equality with men. And what was this equality? They were saying that what a man does, we can also do. Their job nature, we can also go out there and work for it. I'll give you a small story about that. They were talking about the condition of work. Working conditions should be also the same like the men. And thirdly, they were also asking for the right to vote. Those were the 3 fundamental rights that women were looking for by then. And then Clara said, no, even though we are looking for this right because of our meeting, do you know something? We should not only ask for the right for this equality, we should not only ask for working conditions, we should not only ask for the voting thing, we should also ask the government to give us, concentrate one day, Women's Day, 8th March, so that it should be for our own day. They should use it for that day that will talk about us. Merci pour le, c'est pas la personne qui a été like, merci beaucoup. So that is how this story came about. But it did not sleep there, because even though Clara was talking about it, Clara said it, brought that idea in 1910. But can you imagine, it was after at least 7 years that from Russia could even accept women to vote. So you see that it did not just come like that. It did not came with one meeting like that, the reunion that they made, and then they just decided, and then the government accepted it. It's when you are looking for something, you need to fight for it and prove the country or the states that you people merit it. So they were fighting for it every year, and then finally, in the Petersburg, you're talking about the capital of Russia, the women also went on strike, and that was the day that they commemorate on the 23rd of February 1917, that day was even the week that they gave them that right to vote. Women had that right to vote, because they had to go again on the streets, they had to go on strike, go on the street with their placards, and then they were accorded that right to vote. So at least they want something. Then when you go now to New Zealand also, that was when they permitted women also in that same 1917. Then you are going now to 1919. So every year some different countries were copying it and discovered that, okay, New Zealand said no. The women also said, if they have done it in Russia, we are going to do it in our own country. So they were also fighting for their right to vote. That's why they granted them also 1919 the right for women to vote. That's when they went for their first, permit them to go for their first legislative election. So you see that they don't just give things to people like that. You need to fight for it. So when we are celebrating Women's Day, 8th March, is because you are trying to at least respect the memory of those women. Merci, Mama Lily. Respecting the memories of those women that fought for us, that we are talking now, that we are able to go and work, we are able to go to school, we are able to be minister, we are able to go and vote. That is the reason for 8th March. That's the reason for 8th March. It's not the reason for us to go and buy material, be rude to our husband, go and, how they call, soulever le cabas, or go and drink all those things. It's not to go and uplift our cabas, do all kind of minimal things, disrespect our husband, treat them like dogs because you want to celebrate one just day. For example, if you go and celebrate Women's Day, which is just 8th March, you misbehave, you discover, you fight with your husband, you separate with your husband because your husband did not buy you that material. And then people have a marriage problem. It can even cause divorce. which match also causes divorce, fight, disrespect, drunkenness, rape. It causes quarrel in the house just because the husband did not buy this material for women. And the worst of it is that the African women are taking these ideas very wrongly. Very wrong. The African women are very wrong with this. The approach concerning eight match is a very wrong approach, because we have not taken our time to make conferences, to go out there and explain to these women that we can celebrate this day, but people should know why we are celebrating this day. The reason for us celebrating this day, let me explain to you guys. The reason for us celebrating this day is because we told the government that men were going out to work. We are also equal to work. When it comes of equality, when it comes to working condition, this came out from the US, where you have, I think it was from Detroit and New York, where you have women. They were working in a big, very big usine. They will go there, work in that usine. Women will carry their children, will work very hard in that textile usine. They will work there for a very long hour. They have kids, they have children that will bring it there. When they finish in that usine, they'll go home. They need to do domestic cows. They do all the cows, they do all the labor in the house, all the domestic work, take care of the kids, take care of those that have gone to school, do the assignment, do everything, coupled with the fact that they were working in the textile company. So you see that they were working like slaves. It was just a kind of slavery, but this was based on the women. They would take women to go and work there like slaves. They work all through their life, and then they still have another maternity process to take. They are pregnant, they get to get birth, they give birth, take care of the house, cook food again, and the men will just come and eat. So that's when these women, they said that no, we need to have equal working condition with the men. They had to fight for it. There in New York, the Americans now, they start now with the miserable kind of way that they were working in New York. They started reclaiming that they need an equal number of hours. If the men are working 10 hours, they should give us 10 hours. They started fighting for it. They will not be working all through the morning to night, and they still have to go and do some domestic work. And they were treating like women by then was just like, after slavery, they thought that there's another kind of slavery for women, using them, the energy. So women was working double energy, double activity more than the men. So they started reclaiming that if the men have 10 hours, they should give them 10 hours. That's how, from the US, the Americans now started giving them this equal rights of work. Changing, giving them good condition of work also. Trying to give them maternity holidays. Trying to give them some break. But before then again, the American, just imagine, before the Dutch or the German people started thinking about, before Clara could even think about concentrating that day, the Americans were already the first people. In 1857, they started this issue. They started this issue since 1857. They started their own that way, claiming a working condition, equal rights, equal good condition of work. And when they give it to them, the Americans did not give them the public holiday. So when this German lady said no, they should concentrate one day for women, because it was existing already. And when they had their reunion, the International Socialists Socialist Women, Social Women, that's when she brought the idea that no, they should also concentrate one day, because the American gave them this day for the women, give them working condition, but the Americans did not give it like a public holiday. So this woman came and said no, they should make it like a public holiday. So that's how this is a story about Women's Day. They were looking for something, fighting for something for us that we are enjoying it now. You understand? So when you talk of working condition, that's why you see the American working condition, you see that they always respect the working condition. In the US, you can have 5 jobs. If you have your energy and your time, you can do it. In America, if you have gone out for retirement for them is when your body seems to be retired. If your health condition makes you and seems like you can still work 2 hours a day, they'll give you the time to work. Meanwhile, you see people here in France that will still be fighting and going for strike. If they just come again out and tell them that retirement will be 66 years, I think the whole French country will be on strike again for more than months for them to change it, because they're looking for their time to have time for them to rest. But in the US, if you are strong enough, if you're healthy enough, if you're available to do a certain job, you can do it. This to prove to you that equality concerning salary, if they're paying $10 per hour to a man in that same job, they'll pay a woman 10 hours and $10 an hour for a woman. That's why Americans started equalizing the working condition, making women to have the same good condition, working condition like payment, holidays, number of hours. So that's how the story of Women's Day came about. So Women's Day did not come because we should go and be feasting. It's nice to feast. It's nice to remember those days, but it is not for that reason. It's not for that reason. And people should understand why the countries were also, women were not voting. Because we should understand that in an economy, in a country's economy, for economy to grow, it's people that are putting in their both skilled and unskilled labor to pay in taxes. For the money, for the country to have some money. Finance that is coming in. For people to save the country for money to get in. Both internal and externally. But they need to at least pay taxes for the money. They have taxation, they have money in their treasury or whatnot. And then if women were not working, there's not a reason for women to go and be voting. Because people that are working are the ones that are deciding. There's not the reason for women to go and be, you are voting what do you discuss? What do you decide in this country? So that was the reason that women were not voting, because when they were not first of all working, they were not too much considered. The men were the main force, where the energy was the enemy, it was the economic force. Economical force was brought from men. They could work hard, pay taxes, bring economics into that country. So they had the right to vote because they could decide something in the country. You women, you were not working. What decision could you take for a country? So when women started fighting the right to vote, that's how women voice also, they had the right now to have some certain position. Because if you can vote, it therefore means you can decide something. If you can work also, it therefore means you can pay taxes. If you say you're equal, it therefore means you can also be equal to a minister or a president. That's the reason for this revendication. This is the reason for this strike that women were going on. For us to have this right that we are all of us, we are at least we are gaining from it. So women, I just wanted to come and explain to you guys that when you're buying us your kaba, jacking it up, soulever the kaba, being so drunk, disrespecting your husband, know that the reason for this day you have is that you were looking for equality. You were saying that what a man can do, you can also do, a woman can do. So if a man is able to pay your bills for all the years, all the different months, it therefore means you, woman, that you want equality. You are supposed to pay your bills for the month of March. You are the woman, since you said a man, if a man is the one that always takes you out for weekend, for restaurant, for holidays, it therefore means with March or the month of March, the women are the one to pay the bills, because if the men were able to do that, and you want equality, it therefore means it should be equal financial spending. You should spend like the men are also spending. If you want equal rights, you don't only take right to go and buy kaba and make noise or drink alcohol and dance on the street. Also take that right and pay your bills. But that's not what the women are doing now, because that's what I talk about Women's Day. If you're looking for equality, don't look for equality for a man. Why are you claiming that you're equal to a man and you're putting a man pressure to buy you material for you to go and wear and make noise outside? No, you were supposed to prove to the man that you are capable of buying your material, even to buy his own, because he has been buying you dresses. Buy his own. You are the one to sponsor that day, sponsor that week, or even sponsor the month. So the month of March, we only call it that as a month for women. If the month of March is a month for women, it therefore means women use your credit card as the men always use a credit card. Don't behave like a prisoner that you are always being in the house. You don't have time to go out to drink. You don't have time to buy material to wear. You don't have time to go for meetings. You don't have to put on your kaba and go and make noise. It is only one day you have come out from your cage as a prisoner to go and make noise. Je n'ai la femme. Femme, vous criez. When you shout, that's when a woman, a married woman, will decide to go and sleep outside. That's the day a married woman wants to treat the husband like a dustbin. But you forgot to understand that when you stay in the house, your husband goes out. He doesn't go out only to go and drink. He goes out to look for finances. So when you are struggling to go out for that one day, go out and look for money. Not to go and get drunk. That's the difference that people don't understand. So women, if you are fighting for a Women's Day equality, what the man gets up in the morning every day to go and look for, take your wheat March or March, the month of March, get up and go and look for what that man used to go and look. If the man is the one paying electric bill, water bill, and everything, if you don't have a joint account, and it's that man's credit card that is always burning all the time, so you need to show that you are equal to him, pay your bills, pay his own bills, invite him to a restaurant, tell him that, okay, Daddy, today is my day. I want to prove to you that what you have been doing, I'm also capable of doing. So put on your dress. Let us go out. Darling, okay, the kids are there. Can you get them dressed as I used to do? But let us go out. I'll be the one to drive the car. I'll take you to the restaurant. I'm going to pay the bills. Or if you don't want to take them to a restaurant, it's okay, Daddy, you know what? You're the one that used to buy us gifts in this house. So I, the woman that I'm equal to you today, I'm going to give you another gift. Let's talk about Women's Day. You were looking for equality. You want to be the same like a man. You want to prove to the world that you're equal to a man. So don't only prove to the world that you're equal to a man by going to buy a dress and go and make noise outside. Prove to that man that you are also the same like him. You can pay bills. You can do everything like the man. That's this notion about Women's Day. That's why like I said, the example I gave was that when we used to work, we talk of Air France, the Air France crew, the Royal Air Maroc RAM, Royal Air Maroc crew. You talk about the Ivorian Air Côte d'Ivoire. You talk about the Emirates. All those crews with experience from our job site during Women's Day. That week, most of the flights are being conducted by the women, especially the Women's Day. We used to receive the Royal Air Maroc. That is one of the only thing I love Royal Air Maroc or Air France is because Women's Day, the commandant, the chef de bord, to the last person, they are all women. The crew is completed by a woman, commandant, chef de cabin, everybody. They are all women because they say, okay, since people want to prove that what we do, you can do, you probably want to pilot the plane this day. It's your day. The boss will give them that courage, encourage them to pilot the plane because it's what you put forth for. If you say the men are also engineers and they are doing mining, go and do the mine. If you want to be an Air Force One as a woman, go and be an Air Force One woman. If you want to be a commander in an army, you can do it because you say you can do it. So go for war. That's the meaning of Women's Day. Equality. What a man can do, we can do it and even do it best, as you used to claim. So that's the reason. So when you are going and talking about Women's Day, don't forget the equality we're looking for and the right to vote. Now, when you ask women to go and vote, they tell that, pardon, si je n'ai pas voté, même c'est la même personne qui va gagner. Il va, non, je ne vote rien. Non, c'est vous les hommes. Quand c'est men, vous les grèves, allez-y les hommes, allez-y. We don't see women that will go on for grève. Women doesn't go for strike. When it's a political situation, you will not see women on the street. They're hiding, sending men in front. But they were fighting for this date. You want to vote for what? Voting is political. Legislative election is political. So if we're looking for the right to vote, it therefore means women wanted to be politically seen. So when it comes to strike, why is that they send out young boys and men out there on the street, and the women, they're hiding behind them? They think that politics is just only for men, but we were fighting for that right. So that is what women does not understand. Women's Day is not for you claim that you want to be equal. You claim that you want to have equal condition. When they ask a woman to work in a hotel from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., the woman said, non, je ne peux pas dormir à l'hôtel. C'est trop. Ce n'est pas nous les femmes. Mais on a bagarré pour avoir l'égalité. L'égalité, c'est quoi? Si les hommes travaillent à 23h et 7h le matin, donc les femmes aussi allaient dormir là-bas à l'hôtel. That's the reason why You have bon week-end ma petite, bon week-end ma soeur. Ma jolie, dans la paix du Seigneur, merci beaucoup et bonne fête. Tu sais que demain c'est fête des femmes. Donc je m'explique aussi, comme j'ai fait ça hier, c'est que tu étais là hier. Donc comme j'ai parlé de ça hier en français, c'est ça que je fais maintenant à... Merci beaucoup, je fais en anglais pour faire comprendre, je passe les messages. Demain c'est le jour de la femme, je pense pas que je vais faire le live. C'est un jour de fête, même si je peux pas fêter, je reste là. Quand même, merci beaucoup, merci d'être là. So when you're talking about equality, don't forget what we fought for. Women fought for this day. We are celebrating. For me, Women's Day is celebrating the women that went on the street for us to have this right. We are enjoying it now. Because behind that three fundamental things that we're looking for, equality, right to vote, and working condition, we also profited from these women. Some different kind of 5 rights that we also profited from them. The right for us to vote, the right for us to get a good job, equality in job site, the right for us to have to own private properties. Women by then could not own private property. People know that. At times you say that a woman could not be a successor because successor must always be a man. Only be men. Now women can be successor to own private property. Women can own a property and put her name on it. When I talk of own property, like you have a blank statement. Le titre de, comment on appelle? Titre foncier. For a woman to own a company, by then it could not happen. But now we have that right to have a private property. We have the right to liberty of opinion. When we talk of liberty of opinion, we're talking about if woman, you want to vote, it never means you want to be political. So you have that free opinion. You can talk. Tell the country, tell the world that this is what you're fighting for. If I'm fighting for this thing and I want to be, for example, you look at Marine Le Pen, those are women that they know what they talk about women right because they fought for the right and they are still talking. Because when women speak, a woman cannot control a country just only by sentiment. There's a difference between sentimental leadership and when you talk of professional leadership. The men will always put their, comment on appelle, what they call it, cold-blooded men. Comment on appelle ça en français? Le sang-froid. Ça, c'est la manière de gestion d'un homme, sang-froid. On voit ça maintenant, comment le président est en train de bombarder à gauche, à droite. Mais si on donnait cette même position à une femme, la femme devait être aussi sentimentale, maternelle. Donc la femme ne devait pas aussi prendre une décision parce qu'elle va penser à les femmes, les enfants qui seront aussi tués aussi pour rien, ou bien les veuves qui devaient rester comme ça, là, les orphelins. La femme ne peut pas prendre une décision n'importe comment parce qu'elle va aussi penser, quand on dit le berceau de l'humanité, c'est une femme. When we talk of humanity, humanity is what women also gain from it. That the men doesn't have it as such. So there are some decisions that women had to get this right to vote, liberty of opinion, to talk to people, liberty of reunion, and then liberty of creativity of maternity. Women are the humanity. Women are the one that bring creation. Because of that, they had to fight for that right. If you look at any country that is being controlled by a woman, there's peace in that country. So those are the good things that we can profit from women. Through these other women that went on strike. They grieved for some time, went on the street for continuous years, decades for us to gain this what we are gaining now. So, but then now, what is the problem with women in Africa that we are still struggling? You see women that are being maltreated because you are still thinking of la femme de amour. C'est ça, merci beaucoup. Women is love. Donc, ma chérie, tu étais là hier. tu étais là hier. Merci beaucoup. C'est ça, merci. Tu étais là hier. Donc, vous ne m'écoutez pas pour rien. Ça montre que tu étais là avec moi hier. Merci beaucoup. So when you look at women, why is that in Africa, women are still backward? We are backward because I've told you about this issue of biblical thing that we need to respect men. We still need to be submissive and all whatnot. Because of submission, because of polygamy, that we are still under it, that polygamous thing. That is why you see maltreatment comes, poverty comes, people are suffering. You understand? We are still suffering not because we are not learned, not because the educational part in Africa is still wayward because we are looking for equal right. People will still go, You go to technical colleges, you find that before then, technical colleges is only for boys. Section technique. Les techniciens à l'école, pour voir même les filles qui font section de là, on ne peut pas les voir comme ça beaucoup. They will not send women for technical college because they say women, that is for men. Building and construction, only for men. Mechanism, for men. Electricity, for men. They will not put women there. Because of they are still minimizing women for that strength. Because they are still looking for women under the maternity, humanity, creation. They are still under that side of taking care of kids. They are not still looking for the women to go under outside for dangerous things, for heavyweight purposes, or exposing women under danger. Because if you want to go and do building, a wall can fall on your head. So they're still looking for that situation. It's not because African men are really, really backward. We are not backward. It's just because we are seeing the fear of the Lord is still in us. When it comes to intelligence, Africa will not go under artificial artificial intelligence. We are not like that. Africans are born intelligent people. They have it here because civilization started in Africa. They are intelligent. They have the brain, they have the moment. We don't need robots. On n'a pas besoin de gadgets pour réfléchir pour nous. On n'a pas besoin de l'IA. Les Africains n'ont pas besoin de l'IA pour être génie. So it's just because they are struggling to support or respect this issue of creation that God made. That women should be submissive to their men, stay in the house and all whatnot. The men should go out and work. That's one of the things I know is a blockage for African women that are not growing. But what the women should know is that African women should organize, make some masterclass, make some conferences for women to understand the reason for us that we are looking for Women's Day, woman rights. What are we looking for? Equality. We are looking for that right for them to leave us, that mutation, that thing that they go and circumcise women. We have some countries that see circumcise women. That is very painful. We have some things that talk about marital condition, that people just take a woman, keep the woman in the house, and the woman just fit for herself. If she doesn't go and do farming or business, the woman will not be able to eat. Irresponsibility comes from the men when it was their responsibility that if the women are not going there to do any job, it's your responsibility to take care of the women and the kids. But if you go in Africa, most of the women, 60% of those women, they fight for themselves. The men are just there for childbearing. They don't care about the children. Those are the conferences African women were supposed to be making to try to notify the women that it is your right. If a man takes you like a woman, that man needs to be responsible. If he doesn't want to be responsible, he should give you a capital for you to make a business. You should not be under a man that you suffered all through, because it's their right for them to take care of a woman. And if he doesn't want to be responsible, the government needs to put them. That's why I have child care support here in the US. That's why I have it here in Europe. That even if a man is irresponsible, the man will take his responsibility. We don't still have it there in Africa. That's the things we're supposed to be fighting now. Women in Africa need to fight for that because the rate is too much. You see single mother, you see women, you see widows, you see women, their husband is there having 3 different women all around. Their wedded wife in the house. Their children are not going to school, but he goes out and gives birth to a child outside. And that woman that is not even a legal wife, the children are well fed by the same man. Those are the things women in Africa were supposed to be fighting for. The same thing that women in Africa are supposed to fight in level of education, to do all the different kind of education. For example, when I was in university in China, we were doing geology. Geological field in university, you hardly see women. We're only, I think, 7 or 10 of us. For female. The rest was just because since it's a geological thing, we need to go field studies, you climb on mountains, you go and do field thing, you need to wear strong shoes, jeans and all whatnot. Women were looking at it's just too hard for women to go and be using hammer to crack some samples of stone or sand or anything, minerals to come and study. Women will not think that it's not for women. And then when you come out, you be a petroleum geologist or engineering geology, they'll say, tu es une ingénieure Clarisse, tu travailles en pétrole, tu es un pétrolier. Pétrolier, oui. Parce qu'on a laissé les femmes d'aller faire géologie. Mais combien de femmes font les géologies? On croit que ce n'est que pour les hommes. So this is the idea that women should start in Africa. all the women conferences that people are making Women's Day, before you feast 8 March, that week we were supposed to go out and tell women their own rights. A man should not put a woman in the house for more than 6 months without even signing a marital life. You should not spend more than 30 years in a man's house when you're not the man's wife legally. It should not work like that. Those are why I talk about women's right. It starts from there. You cannot take me and take all my youthfulness under your roof when I'm not even recognized. And when you pass on, they take the woman and throw outside. Those maltreatment that they give to women is what we should be fighting for. That irresponsibility of men, having kids all over, having more than 3 women. They have signed monogamy in the marriage paper, but they're polygamy outside. Those are the things women in Africa were supposed to be fighting now. The right to go to school. Because there are some areas in Africa, even in my country, Northern Africa, come on, you will not still have some women. Their position is, comment on l'appelle? Le truc de la femme, c'est la cuisine. Il y a une phrase qu'on utilise quand on dit que le truc de la femme, c'est la cuisine. There's a phrase that there's a women's position to be in the kitchen. Okay, if you are supposed to be in the kitchen, and then you are supposed to be in the office, so make sure you furnish what we are going to use in the kitchen. Not that I will go outside there, under the sun, under the rain, tie my kids behind my back, go and sell groundnut to sell or anything, to come again, put in the kitchen for you to go to your office and don't give me money and come and eat my food. Those are the things we're supposed to be doing. Quand on dit la place de la femme, c'est la cuisine. We are not supposed to be remaining in the kitchen. If any man wants a woman to stay in the kitchen, make sure you furnish everything the woman needs in the house. Those are the things women, African women, were supposed to be going out there, making conferences and explaining to women right there in the village, in the town, making men to be responsible. If you don't want to be responsible, send your kids to school. That men should not give their young girls in early marriages because they are running away from their responsibilities. You see children of 14, 16 years, they are getting married. Not out of their wish, but because the family have arranged. Just because the men does not want to be responsible for their kids. So those are the things that women were supposed to. Not buying materials to go and soulever le cabas. It is not. Yes, we can celebrate, but it is not for that purpose. The purpose of Women's Day is for a woman to say no to things that are not right. It's a woman to stand still and say, voilà ce que je veux. Je ne veux plus ça. J'ai trop souffert ici, là. C'est une journée que les femmes devaient dire non. Pour les conditions qui ne sont pas bien. Mais plutôt, nous on a pris ça comme une journée de la fête. Oui, il faut fêter. Mais il ne faut pas qu'on oublie pourquoi ces jours-là. Pourquoi journée de la femme. C'est à nous d'aller au village, dans des grandes villes, dans tous nos pays en Afrique, pour leur expliquer que non. Tu as le droit aussi d'aller à l'école. Tu as le droit aussi d'aller travailler. Et si un homme veut te garder dans la cuisine, quand on dit la place de la femme c'est la cuisine, ok, il doit nous fournir tout. Pas parce qu'il va me laisser là-bas, c'est moi qui pars au champ. Je n'ai pas vendu les carottes pour encore mettre dans la cuisine et il vient manger sans me donner quelque chose. Ça, c'est la irresponsabilité. Those are the things, those are the irresponsibility. All women should say no to maltreatment. No to women that stays in the marriage home. Non de toutes les femmes qu'on met dans les maisons des hommes, des années, les exploiter sans être mariées légalement. C'est là que les femmes doivent dire non. Non pour le fait que tu ne peux pas faire un enfant et tu ne prends pas soin de tes enfants. Non pour le fait que moi, on ne peut pas envoyer mon enfant moins de 20 ans en mariage parce que le papa ne veut pas être responsable. Voilà ce que les femmes devaient faire. Quand on dit une journée de la femme, c'est qu'une femme doit être déterminée pour dire que non pour quelque chose qui ne marche pas. Pas pour aller acheter un tissu pour fêter. C'est bien de fêter, mais ce n'est pas la raison pour les journées de la femme. Journée de la femme, c'est quand une femme revendique quelque chose. Qu'elle dit c'est trop, trop, c'est trop. Aujourd'hui, dans une grande ville au Cameroun, on voit que les femmes font plus de 20 ans dans une mariage sans être mariées. Et les femmes sont contentes. Et je vois comment les autres femmes sont contre cette femme-là. Au lieu que c'est ce qu'on devait dire non. How can a woman make more than 20 years in a marriage? That woman is not even recognized like a wife. Legally, ou bien traditionally. Nothing proves that woman has been a wife to this man. But you are there for more than 15 years, 20 years, 30 years in a man's house. That is modern slavery. Using a woman to bring up your kids that she didn't bear those children. You go and make your children outside and bring it in the house. And the woman stays in that house and bring up your kids. When you discover your children are all adulthood, you push her outside. Those are the things, women. Voilà les choses que les femmes devaient commencer à revendiquer dans un pays qu'on dit qu'on est intelligente. Le fait qu'un homme veut prendre une femme, finir avec sa jeunesse, balancer cette femme-là, aucun droit de mariage, aucun papier, aucune trace de mariage. Elle reste là, elle part ramasser tous les enfants à gauche, à droite, elle soulève les enfants. Quand les enfants sont déjà presque adultes, quand elle voit qu'elle a déjà exploité le temps de la femme et toute son énergie pour soulever ses enfants qui n'a pas accouché, et là maintenant on va dire. Et quand la femme veut parler, on dit qu'elle n'a pas le droit de parler. Voilà ce que les jeunes et la femme devaient mettre sur les thèmes. Mais au Cameroun, on va mettre, chaque année, il y a un bon thème de jeunes et la femme. C'est écrit juste sur notre pagne. Est-ce que on met ça en application? Est-ce que les femmes portent le placard pour dire que non? Trop, c'est trop. Au Cameroun, on dit qu'on ne peut plus vivre chez un homme plus de 6 mois sans être marié. Mais au Cameroun encore, dans les grandes villes, on voit que les femmes font plus de 25 ans, 20 ans, 15 ans sans être mariées. Et les femmes ne peuvent pas se revendiquer, c'est que non, trop c'est trop, on ne doit pas nous utiliser. Plus de 60% des femmes en Afrique, les maris sont vivants, mais irresponsables. Mais pas parce qu'ils ne veulent pas, pas parce qu'ils ne peuvent pas, mais parce qu'ils ne veulent pas. Mais il faut donner l'argent à une autre femme dehors. Mais les enfants, on va les renvoyer de l'école. Voilà ce qu'on devait revendiquer. Pas pour acheter des tissus. Pas pour aller être sous pour une seule journée. La personne qui part fêter, mépriser son mari de séjour, sache que la personne est prisonnière. On t'a donné liberté pour une seule journée. For a woman to get on the morning and wake up, soulever le cabas, you go and then you go and make noise and become drunk. Know that you're an internal prisoner. It therefore means 365 days. You have just one day. And your husband have 364 days. It therefore means you're a prisoner for all your life. And then they just give you one day liberty. You want to explode your mind. You want to go crazy. That's the thing about Women's Day. So guys, we should learn how to revindicate. What is our own? When we see that we cannot support any longer. These women, they revindicated for decades for us to profit what we are profiting now. But there are so many things that are still going on that women are supporting that are not supposed to go through. That's why I'm here today, to make you understand that Women's is not all about material or feasting. Women's is something you need to fight for your right. Le droit de voter, le droit des meilleures conditions de travail, le droit de justice, le droit de ceci, cela. C'est ça qu'on parle. Ce n'est pas le droit de fêter, le droit d'avoir un tissu pain. Ce n'est pas ça. Ce n'est pas ça la journée de la femme. Donc il ne faut pas qu'on commence à hypnotiser les femmes pour acheter parce qu'ils ont commercialisé cette histoire de journée de la femme. It has been commercialized that make it to become a business instead of education, instead of indicating to women. All countries have decided to print. You go to Cameroon and have Sikam. Sikam has printed the whole place is Women's Day. It has become a business instead of becoming an education, instead of becoming an education, instead of becoming an outlet, but it has become a business. That if people don't buy with mass, if you go now to Marché Central now, at this hour, people are buying Kaba. They're still buying, and they'll buy tomorrow morning. Is that the reason of Women's Day? No. But because I've commercialized it, make it to become a business. Valentine's Day has become a business. People don't know that Valentine's Day means when you get up from your bed, if you don't know how to talk, mommy, I love you, daddy, I love you, that is the day you need to embrace it. Give a hug to your parents or your family members or your kids. It's not a day only for people that are sexual. It's not for sexual partners. It's not only for sexual partners. It's for everybody. But Valentine's Day has become a business to buy flower, buy gifts. And the same thing with Women's Day. It has been commercialized. Donc, le journée de la femme est devenu une business. C'est une commerce. Au lieu de fêter une histoire, encourager les femmes de revendiquer sur les droits qui n'existent pas, mais on a transformé ça pour une business. Si tu n'achètes pas Les femmes vont créer le problème avec les maris parce qu'ils n'ont pas ces tissus. À partir de lundi, on va voir. On va voir ça sur les réseaux sociaux. Ceux qui vont utiliser le couteau, bagarre, on va les violer à cause de cette histoire-là. Parce qu'on a matérialisé, on a commercialisé une journée alors que ce n'est pas ça. That is not the reason for Women's Day. Ce n'est pas la raison. When I was in university, I was so angry when I see Women's Day because I was just like that. I said, what is this? But when I started going to my job, I had to recognize the day because I'm happy that I could have a job that it was an international job. So you had the idea about Women's Day was different. We could go out there, make conferences for the whole week, go out in schools, go out in prison yard, go in hospital to give gifts, clean the school compound, give them some gifts for prisoners, for women. We buy parts and everything that goes for women. We go to New Bed, we're giving gifts to recognize the women that we are outside. You are in the prison. We are outside working for you guys. We think about you. That's why we come and give you something. That's why we talk about Women's Day. We look for the right for women to be in the prison yard, but they should be in good hygienic condition. Even if they are prisoners, they should have a good hygienic condition. We're going to visit the prison, not for visiting sake, because, oh, they farm the poor man, they farm the Meridian. No, we're going to look at the condition under which those women are in the prison. Do they have hygienic condition? Do they have toilet rolls to go to the toilet? Do they have their hygienic toilets pad? That's what we're going for. Were they mixed up with men for them to be raped? No. That's what they talk about Women's Day. But unfortunate us. So guys, let's talk about the dignity of a woman. Dignité de la femme. J'ai parlé de ça hier. Why did I talk about dignity? Because I talked about the color that was chosen for Women's Day. 1 minute. Women's Day. When the women were reivindicating, going out for strike, there was a color that they always use. Purple color. When they're holding their placards, they're holding any material, they hold a purple material, using it. That was the color they use it. And that color that was using it for what? It was talking about equality. There's equality. That color represents, that's when you recognize international, the color that is international recognized for Women's Day is purple color. Why is it that it's purple color? Because anytime they were going out for strike or making their meeting, that's how they use a color to decorate their halls, or they are going in. You have their placard, you have purple color. And that purple color signifies what? It represents justice. It represents dignity. It symbolizes women that are visionary. Visionary women. Women that have vision. Women had passion. Women had power that wants to determine something and need something. For a woman to be a visionary is somebody that thinks far. That thinks very far and say, you know what? Clarice, you need to fight for. On sait, oh maman Lily, come, viens, il faut qu'on bagarre ces gens, ils vont nous donner ce qu'on ça nous doit. So I say a visionary woman is somebody that thinks far and fight for somebody. Because Clara Zenkit, the Dutch woman that brought the idea for Women's Day to be consecrate a day for women, those were visionaries. All the women in the Petersburg Square that were going in for strike, in New Zealand, in New York, Detroit, in those magazines, all those women that were going off for strike for us to have this International Day women, they are called visionaries. So if you don't fight for something, nothing is going to give for you. They don't give liberty. Liberty is being something you need to take it with force. If you don't be determined to take it with force, nobody is going to give it. You don't caress liberty for it to come. You need to be determined. You need to have that vision. You need to have that fight. That's what I talk about Women's Day. Women's Day is not dresses. So the purple color now has become a commercial thing. Like in Cameroon, now you go and see green, red, yellow, because they want to respect our flag. You see all those different colors of Women's Day material that I've made. But they have forgotten the purple color. The purple talk about justice, talk about dignity, talk about visionary. That's what they talk about. So that's why I choose the origin of Women's Day and the dignity of a woman. So let's talk about the dignity of a woman. La dignité d'une femme. Parce que la couleur choisie pour fêter ces journées internationales des femmes, c'est violet. Et violet symbolise quoi? L'égalité, justice, pensée visionnaire. Ça, c'est la couleur violet. So how many countries are they using that purple color? Do they even know that the color exists for Women's Day? I don't know. Because the only country I know that are using it up to now, Guinean. The Guinean that I know, they're using purple color because I've been asking that why is that every year that Women's Day is the same? Is this tainted color, this tone that they're using? But I asked them, why is that? Because in Cameroon, we have different color every year. I said, no, ça c'est notre couleur. It's only since I came to France, the only country that I've seen in Africa that are using the color purple is Guinean. That's why I'm going to feast. We are going to do Women's Day. I'm going to celebrate Women's Day with the Guinean women this year because I'm invited. So I need to at least go and sow those their material. I'm not going to buy Journée de la Femme for Cameroon this year. I'm not going to buy it. I'm going to use Guinean on. Because it's purple. That's the reason for it. So when I'm talking about the dignity of a woman, when I talk of dignity, what do you mean about dignity? Dignity of a woman is valorizing yourself. Having that value. That dignity means having that value, that respect. That weight in you. A dignified woman will talk about respect. We are not talking about, people might have status. People might have money, but they are not dignified. They are not even respectable. They are not responsible. You cannot tell me that somebody is dignified when the person is a drunk because he's rich. You cannot be a dignified man when you are a rapist and you have money. And then you tell me your dignity. Dignity comes with respect. Dignity comes with value. Dignity is that kind of is a person or thing that has chosen with, that comes with, command with respect. You are respecting yourself and respecting others. Let's talk about dignified dignitaries, people of some kind of level that are being respectable. So for a dignity, for a woman to be a dignified woman, for a woman to have dignity, when I see people talk of personality, personality talks about dignified dignitaries. High personalities, you talk about high dignitaries. And you think in this social media, say, tu n'as pas la dignité, et non, tu n'as pas la personnalité. Personnalité, quand on parle de personnalité, vous connaissez ce qu'on dit même. Vous connaissez la définition de personnalité, que vous chantez ça sur les réseaux sociaux là. Et ceux qui disent que les gens n'ont pas la personnalité, c'est eux-mêmes les contraires des gens de la poubelle. Parce qu'on dit dignité. Ça doit marcher avec ton comportement. Ça doit marcher avec ton langage, ton apparence. Mais les gens qui parlent les gens qui n'ont pas de personnalité, la personne qui utilise le mot personnalité, quand tu le regardes même, ça n'a pas de personnalité égale moins 10. Ce n'est même pas 0, moins. Parce que ce qui sort dans les bouches, c'est le poison. Ce qui sort dans les cerveaux, ce n'est pas bon à entendre et vivre. Mais ce sont eux qui ont dit que les gens n'ont pas la personnalité. Pour avoir la dignité, c'est pour avoir une bonne personnalité. C'est pour avoir ce respect en soi. Et c'est pour respecter les autres. C'est pour valoriser les gens. Et toi-même, tu te valorises. Les gens ne connaissent même pas les valoriser. Ils vivent dans les rêves de l'IA. Qui ne connaissent même pas les valeurs. On les torture. On a été les torturer. Parce que pour avoir cette dignité, il faut avoir le sens de l'humanité. Il faut être un être humain. Mais si tu te laisses traiter comme un animal, tu n'as aucune dignité. For a woman that thinks she or she needs to be, has the dignity. If you are not like a human being, if you don't feel like a human being, if you don't respect yourself, if you don't valorize yourself, if you don't respect others, then don't think you have any dignity in life. You're an animal. Because a woman that does not respect his or her own self, her own body, her own flesh, and you allow a man to pound on you, a man to beat you all the time, it therefore means you don't have any dignity on earth. Don't waste your time. Don't tell people that people don't have dignity. When you yourself, you allow yourself to be beaten like a bad animal. Tu te laisses, un homme te tabasse comme un animal et tu viens dire aux gens que les gens n'ont pas de personnalité alors que c'est toi qui te laisses faire comme un animal, traiter comme un animal. Pour que quelqu'un ait une dignité, tu dois être senti comme un être humain. Puis encore une femme. Un berceau de humanité. Les créatures, donc les gens qui créent les choses. Les conversions, les gens qui convertent quelque chose, ce sont des femmes, pas les hommes. Et quelqu'un va venir dire que tu n'as pas de personnalité. Comment tu tombes et tu peux avoir de personnalité que tu te laisses tabasser tout le temps, brûler, faire tout. Et tu viens encore dire aux autres là qui n'ont pas de personnalité. Alors que tu te laisses traiter comme un animal. Voilà ce que les femmes devaient revendiquer. De ne pas se laisser tabasser n'importe comment et maltraiter. Mais est-ce que nous on fait des conférences pour ça? Au lieu de faire des conférences, c'est ça pour alerter les gens. On va faire des conférences et parler du ventre, des bas-ventres des gens. La vie des gens. Alors qu'il y a des choses comme ça. Maman, il faut qu'on commence à chercher à comment... C'est vrai qu'on est en train d'aller là, on n'est pas sur TikTok, mais je pense que je vais commencer à la TikTok. Pas pour faire monter les gens sur mon panel. Pour que je fasse monter quelqu'un sur mon panel, je veux connaître la personne. Je ne sais pas ce qu'on dit modérateur, les histoires là, comment, je ne maîtrise rien sur ça. Mais quand je vais commencer à lancer l'étude de TikTok, c'est pour passer les messages comme ça, parce que j'ai vu que les gens sont en train d'aller dans le côté inverse, dans leur vie. C'est qu'ils devaient parler sur les bêtises de TikTok. Ils ne parlent pas de ça, c'est pour se lever, pour parler que tel a dit que, pour planifier les mauvaises choses des gens. Alors que c'est ça qu'ils devaient me parler de ça. Si vous dites que vous avez la voix, vous êtes les stars. C'est le starmania de quoi? Starmania dans le vide. Vous êtes les stars, mais sans dignité, sans respect en soi, sans confiance en soi. On vous traite comme des animaux, on vous insulte, on vous dénigre. Et les mêmes gens vont venir. Quand on dit la honte n'existe plus dans les dictionnaires africains, surtout quand on est sur la toile. La honte a disparu dans les dictionnaires. There is no shame any longer when it comes to dictionary in Africa or Cameroonians on social media. They spend their time talking about people that do not have personality or dignity when they are the same people that men will beat upon them. Men will use them. Men will take all their finances, eat up their sweat. You go and even ask your friend to give you money. It's a man that eats your money. And it's normal. C'est normal. La maltraitance sur les réseaux sociaux pour les gens qui disent qu'ils ont la personnalité, c'est normal. Alors que c'est le moment, c'est moi-ci. C'est cette même femme-là qui devait faire les conférences de presse. Aller dans les chaînes de télé pour donner les fausses expériences. Pour dire aux filles de ne pas entrer dans les mêmes pièges que eux. Vous passez votre temps à chercher l'argent à gauche, à droite. Elle va vous tabasser, prendre votre argent, manger. Et c'est normal. Ça, c'est ce qu'on a dit la maltraitance. Aucune dignité, aucun respect pour une femme. En plus de ça, on te tape encore. Et les femmes vont venir dire qu'ils ont une personnalité. And women will say they have personality. When you work your money, ask your fan to give you money to do your business, to bring up your life. The man is not even responsible. You want to become responsible, that same person takes your money again and eats it and beats you on top and give you condition. And you come again and say people does not have dignity or respect. So what are the qualities for a person that you can call that person different? When somebody have respect for the person's behavior, the person's appearance. When we talk of dignity, when you want to go to all the statements meeting, you see that they are not going to dress up vulgarly. Quand tu pars dans un endroit de haute personnalité, on ne peut pas voir les femmes ou bien les hommes qui s'habillent à une manière vulgaire. C'est ça on dit la dignité des femmes. When you're going to a big business party or any political thing, any gathering of that nature, you see that the appearance counts. L'apparence compte. Le langage là-bas doit compter. Le comportement doit être compté. When you talk of dignify somebody, your appearance, your comportment, your behavior, your language, what comes out from your mouth needs to be, at least, needs to be selective. You don't go to a kind of big, you will not see someone from a quartier, you come out from a quartier and go to a big thing and start to talk. Tu vois, c'est qu'on a fait là-bas quartier. Tu sais, non. Your language needs to change, needs to be constructive. That's what talk of dignify somebody. If somebody that has dignity, you can look from the person, from the appearance, the way the person talk, the way the person represents his or her own self in public or even in private, and the way the person treats others. That's what talk of the quality of a dignified somebody. Is it the same thing? Last week, we have one influencer here. You go late. When the first lady is already in the hall, you take your phone and say, j'étais arrêté, on m'a refusé, n'est pas entré dans la salle. I don't know. Education is something they still need to identify. Young people need to be educated. That's why I said money. C'est pour ça que l'argent n'est pas égal à la dignité. Même les statuts, parce qu'il y a les gens qui sont allés à l'école, mais c'est toujours villageois sur les têtes et le comportement. L'argent, certains gens ont l'argent, et l'argent qui les a surprend. L'argent de secte, l'argent des bordelais, l'argent de quelque chose TC. Comme ils ne savaient pas qu'ils devaient être riches, l'argent les rend fous et bêtes qu'ils ne peuvent pas prendre le temps pour apprendre le protocole de la vie. Que si tu pars dans cet endroit, voilà comme ça, comment tu vas faire. Si tu es dans cet endroit, si tu es dans le quartier, fais comme les Katesa. Quand tu pars ici, là, fais aussi. Quand c'est le type politique ici, quand c'est le business, tu fais ici. C'est comme ça que les gens n'ont pas encore à apprendre. Parce que tous les influencés sont capables d'acheter des carcasses au nom de voitures, louer les maisons dans les Bonakwa là. Il s'est déjà arrivé, alors qu'il y a encore quelque chose qui manque. Le comportement. Le langage n'est pas encore changé. Et on va les mélanger dans un endroit de haute personnalité. C'est pour ça que ça ne marche pas pour le moment. Que les influenceurs, parce qu'ils pensent qu'ils ont le nombre de millions des abonnés, la personne est déjà arrivée. Ils confondent aussi le stamania de ce virtuel et un personnage respectueux. So how can you give a dignity of a woman with kind of people of that nature when they don't know the difference between your personality, your virtual personality and reality? They don't even know the reality and the real and visual. They mix up everything. They don't know where and how and when to do some certain things. They just think that we are from Kati, thinking about your schoolmates. It's the same thing you are going to talk in front of the minister, or it's the same thing you are going to talk of big business entrepreneur. They don't know that there are different environment with different way of thinking and way of dressing and way of talking. They don't even know that but the woman will come because she just think that everywhere wants to go is where you can put up your breast outside for men to see. They don't know when is to expose that their body and when not to expose their body. And they want respect. And very soon, the same people that will come and say that somebody raped them. They start to talk about rape when they were the one carrying on their body to go and express it in the public. And when those men fall into it, forgetting to know all men function like dogs. No man will see a woman that comes so cheap in front of his or her and then they don't use it. Hey, tu sens que tu vois un petit patron. Patron, je vois que tu me regardes. Je ne t'appelle pas ton nom, ça va? Ça fait longtemps. J'espère que tu vas bien. Ça se passe comment là-bas chez vous pour la fête? Tu vas aller en Boassou? Parce que j'ai vu Boassou, j'ai posté le truc de Boassou là-bas l'autre jour sur ma page. J'espère que c'est là où vous avez parti là-bas. Tu seras là-bas? Hey, Ivan. Tu me regardes. Sur Facebook, hein, les gens, même si tu ne mets pas le commentaire, je sais que tu es déjà sur ma page, je sais que tu es là. Ivan, c'est comment? J'appelle ton nom parce que tu es mon petit frère. Si ce sont des grands personnages, je n'appelle pas le nom. Tu es mon petit, ça va. So how can we understand what makes a woman to become dignified? I've already talked about it. First of all, you talk about your humanity. You need to feel like a woman. You need to also imprint that means of, how do I call it? Your interior self. You need to listen to your own self. Be your own self. Those are the things that makes you to become a dignified person. D'avoir the façon de construire that you need to, at least, I talked about it yesterday, talking about how women can perceive or the way they perceive or construct their life in the certain period of time. You're talking about what? I was talking about a woman that lost all her dignity because she left Africa, decided to find herself to come to a greener pasture. So I talk of coming to abroad. to look for her life. She left everything and come this way. When you come this way, you need to start from scratch. And because you want to start from scratch, you need to go through some certain condition you never loved to. Some women will be forced to go and sleep men because you need money to feed yourself. When you come, you leave Africa to come this way, your parents or family members or friends are calling to ask for money, don't know even your condition because they don't know you're for bush, you have gone to Europe, they don't know your condition. Pressure is under you. Because of that pressure, you're forced to do some certain things that you didn't love doing before. You see boys who become thieves or pickpockets. You see girls who become prostitutes or drug addicts. When you start the prostitution, it's because that circumstances, because of that time, that circumstances, you became that. You were losing your dignity. But when the time comes, you have your stay paper, and you still stay in that same profession, therefore means you have lost all your dignity. There's sometimes that you can do some certain things in life because you didn't have choice. But when you've come up from that situation, if you don't change your position, therefore means you have lost all your dignity in life. As a woman, you can't still maintain that dignity. That's the reason why some women, they'll leave Africa and they come this way, they discover that if they can sleep with 3 men, 3 different men and have at least 500 euro a day, they will not see themselves to go and pick a job for 8 hours that you pay 1 hour is 13 euro or 12 euro. They'll minimize that money because if you look at 13 euro, let me see, 13 times 8 is how much? Let me do some small calculation here. If you have to have 13 euro per hour, I want to do a small calculation. For somebody that works for 8 hours, 13 times 8. Somebody who can work a very hard job, 8 hours per day, and they pay you 1 hour 13 euro. The person will gain just 104 euro per day. And somebody that has been a prostitute and decide to see if I sleep with 3 men just to have 500 euro. When that person decide to stay in that job, your dignity has expired. You decided to sell your dignity over money. Your personality is finished, and you have no respect again in the society or your entourage. Meanwhile, somebody that decides to go and work that 104 hours decides to keep his or her own dignity. It's hard, yes, but it keeps her dignity so that you should not be dirty or ramshackled or maltreated or raped or anything. That's why for somebody to become a dignified person, for a woman to be a dignified person, your dignity can fade out as well as you can build it up. And how does it fade out? When you did some certain things in life and you cannot catch up and recover yourself to be responsible or somebody that you can watch. Quand je vais nettoyer mon image, quand on dit que je vais nettoyer mon image, c'est quoi? J'ai fait des bêtises, maintenant je vais devenir dans le bon chemin. C'est ce qu'on dit que je vais nettoyer mon image. Donc j'avais fait des bêtises, j'étais dans les ravins, maintenant je vais me mettre dans le côté des grands personnages. Et pour être dans les grands personnages, il faut que je nettoie mon image pour arriver à ce niveau-là. Parce qu'on ne quitte pas dans un ravin pour être dans un présidentiel. Ça ne marche pas comme ça. Il faut de travail sur ton image d'abord, sur ton comportement et sur tes langages. C'est comme ça, pour qu'une femme a cette dignité-là, c'est quelque chose qu'on peut construire avec le temps. Qui est aussi avec notre comportement, notre habillement, toutes ces choses-là, ça marche avec. On ne peut pas quitter dans un quartier, on se trouve dans un présidentiel alors qu'on n'a pas fait une petite formation au milieu. Ça marche pas. C'est pour ça que certains gens se trouvent quelque part à cause de la simplicité des autres, comme parce que les gens vont mélanger avec toi, tu commences à parler n'importe comment. Le langage n'a pas changé. Parce que la personne sort d'un quartier, la personne oublie là où il se trouve. Le langage des quartiers sont toujours dans les bouches. Vous comprenez, on dit la dignité d'une femme. Ça s'est construit avec le temps. Selon les circonstances. Avec le temps. C'est comme ça aussi qu'on peut se déconstruire. Tu peux avoir l'argent. Tu es chiante. Tu parles mal aux gens. Un jour, tu prends juste une petite phrase. Comme Francine a fait l'autre jour. Juste pour les petites phrases qu'elle a fait. Toute la toile était contre elle. Son stamania et sa abonnée, elle a découragé certains gens. Donc, on peut construire notre truc comme ça, on arrive ici là. Mais à cause d'un petit comportement, petit langage, petite apparence, ça fait qu'on fait comme une chute libre, on descend. It's the same thing. You can build your dignity. as well as with time and circumstances, as well as you can destroy for 1 second just because of what came out from your mouth. People can go against you just for your language. People can go against you because of your behavior. People can go against you just because of your appearance. So talk of dignity of a woman. So for a woman, now for you also, when I talk about dignity, what else can we talk about the dignity of a woman? I talked about humanity. I talked about respect. I talked about protecting. If you love somebody, protect somebody. That's what you talk about. If you want to have that dignity, you're able to love. That woman is a berceau de humanity. That woman is a woman of creation. For us women, for a woman is when I talk of highest resources of human being is a woman. We are the people. When I say what a man do, a woman can do best. We can do best because there's some certain things that we do that a man cannot do. A man cannot give birth. A man cannot recreate. Recreation is from a woman. A man is just a donor. A man can be a father every day in his life. A man can father so many women. If a man decides to sleep with 3 women, different women the same day, he can pregnant 3 women the same day. But a woman cannot be pregnant with 3 different men the same day. Even if she was raped. That's the difference between us. A woman, for her to create another human being, will take 9 months. A man just needs to go and give it, piece it out. Anyway, you just throw the sperms outside. And those are human beings that she's creating like that. But the woman will take that. When you talk of women are creator, converter, we convert things. We are source of that converter. We are the forces of it. We are source of change. We are the one that create changes. Men doesn't create changes. Men just create some certain things, then we take it and change it and mold it. Women are the one that create changes. Women are the one that convert things. A man will come and give me his sperm. I take it and create it to a human being. I nurture that sperm. I keep it to the thing transform, metamorphose for me to create another human being. Creativity is from us. Courage is from us, women. It's not from men. Let me tell you something. Women are very strong when it comes to health. A man with simple, small headache will not stand fever or headache in the house like a woman that will stand will have hypertension or high tension in the house. Men are very weak when it comes to illness. Women are courageous people. If you put pregnancy into the man's stomach to go and give birth, that man will not stand that pain. Women are courageous people. So don't neglect yourself and allow yourself to be humanized or to be destroyed or minimized for nothing. The capacity to love, humanity, sentiment comes from women. The capacity to love comes from women. Not that men do not love, but the capacity. When I talk of capacity means my man will do something to me today. I said it's finished. If it comes to that, I'm going to. But when it comes again and asks for apology and even fool me with some gift, I will come back and love him more than even before. But a man, when a man discovers that the wife slept with a friend, that love disappears. It doesn't come again. If the man goes back and sleep with that woman, it's just because of maybe ego or egoism. He just wants to sleep with that woman. It's not because the man still loves. When the love for a man dies, he dies. But women will recreate it. The capacity to love is still with us. The capacity to give life, we are the one that have it. Not men. So don't forget about your capacity as a woman. Don't forget about your source of energy. Don't forget about your source of convention. A woman is the one that will take a house and make it to become a home. A woman will be the one to pick up a kind of man, a dirty man, and transform the man to become a real man. A woman will be that kind of street man to become responsible. A woman is the one that will make a house, take man's capital and transform it to something good. But if you have a woman that thinks that he needs to take the man's wife money just to go and be doing partying, that is not a real woman. A real woman is a woman that thinks constructively, wants to build, to create, to convert, to multiply. Women are not the ones to divide. Women are the ones to multiply, increase, convert. Bad to good. So guys, that's my language for today. That's what I wanted to pass for you guys. When I talk of a team, when I talk of a team, a person that can represent high dignified image. If I want to represent my country, what makes me to represent my country? To what my determination. If I'm here in France, I want to Cameroon flag. And I want my country to recognize me here in France before I go to Cameroon. I need to hold the flag and be determined. Passion about something to fight our soul. Say, oh Clarisse, moi Clarisse, c'est une femme tellement solide. Elle a lutté pour les femmes africaines, les immigrants ici en France. Donc à cause d'elle, tout le monde était content quand on avait la femme, c'était ivoirienne qui était au niveau de l'Assemblée nationale. La femme, je pense qu'est-ce qu'elle faisait comme travail. Je pense que c'est femme de chambre de l'hôtel ou quoi, quelque chose comme ça là. Tout le monde était content de voir ça. Parce qu'elle c'était une femme déterminée aussi. Elle a créé son nom, son passage, oui. Elle est arrivée au niveau de l'Assemblée. Est-ce qu'elle fait la même lutte? Elle ne peut pas faire la même lutte parce que je ne pense pas qu'il y a beaucoup de femmes qui sont derrière elle. Donc, nous les femmes, soyez respectueuses. Aimez-vous d'abord. Respectez-vous pour qu'on va vous donner ce respect. Et respectez les gens autour de vous. Respectez votre corps, respectez votre... Il faut être déterminé. Pour ceux qui me connaissent bien. C'est que c'est l'eau aussi que je vais vendre de l'eau là, tellement bien, être déterminé, montrer l'amour et passion avec ce que je fais. Quand on dit dame de fer, ce que je suis en train de faire ici en France, pour le peu de temps que je me suis installée, certaines femmes camerounaises n'ont même pas commencé à imaginer de faire ce que je fais. De venir dans un pays qui n'est pas mon pays. Je trouve une job. Je suis entrée dans ce job pour les faire comprendre qu'on doit exister en tant que femme. On ne ménage, on ne pisse pas sur nos têtes. Ce n'est pas parce qu'on est africain qu'on va nous faire n'importe quoi. Dans un pays qui n'est pas la mienne. Pour les faire comprendre que on doit nous valoriser. Moi, je lutte ça. Je lutte ça à l'heure actuelle ici en France. Pour les faire comprendre qu'on ne piétine pas. Parce que ce n'est pas parce qu'on ne semble femmes que quelqu'un, une jeune fille qui est ma responsable, quand tu regardes son âge, c'est ma petite soeur. Parce que elle est française, je suis camerounaise. Elle va me parler n'importe quoi au téléphone. Parce que je dois dire, mais tu sais, stop. Stop. Tu es ma responsable. Oui, je n'ai pas refusé. Vous avez la chance. Mais vous ne me parlez pas comme ça. Les valeurs humaines doivent compter. La manière que tu me parles aussi va compter parce que je vais fournir un service. C'est grâce à ce service que mon salaire va sortir et ton salaire va sortir. Donc, vous ne me minimisez pas. Le respect doit être mutuel. Tu es mon chef, je te respecte, mais tu dois me respecter en tant qu'être humain. C'est tout. Et là, je suis en exiger dans un pays qui n'est pas ma mère. Je bagarre. Pas pour moi, parce que moi, si ce n'est que moi, j'ai mon courage. Mais pour le voir des sans-voix africaines et mes graines, qui font le même travail que moi et que mes si, les gens comme nous ne bagarrent pas pour eux. Comme on ne connaît pas le droit ici en France. Parce que nous, les Africains, on n'aime pas aussi lire. Nous, les Africains, on entre dans un pays. Au lieu de regarder quand on dit l'intégration. C'est que je n'ai pas compris. L'intégration, c'est ça qui nous crée le problème. On est en Afrique. On ne connaît pas tous nos droits. Parce qu'on n'apprend pas. On peut dire passer moins de l'école. Maintenant, on arrive dans un pays que tout est là. On ne veut même c'est même dans notre téléphone. Tu peux demander Google tes droits sur le téléphone. Mais les gens sont assez incapables de rechercher même l'autre là. Alors que même sur Google, même si tu ne connais pas lire, tu fais vocal, on va te répondre aussi vocal. Mais jusque-là, les gens ne connaissent pas les droits. Et moi, que c'est que j'aime lire et faire mon nez partout là, je vais rester pour que quelqu'un pisse sur moi. Non, ça ne marche pas. Et comme on sait que nous sommes les immigrants, on ne connaît pas nos droits, c'est comme ça qu'on nous fiche de l'air. Aujourd'hui, tu travailles ici 6 mois, tu pars dans l'autre côté, tu ne connais même pas les papiers que tu vas prendre quand tu veux quitter un travail un autre. Et quand maintenant tu vas demander à l'industrialisation, on va te dire, venez avec, c'est quoi la bordereau 237, tu ne connais même pas ce que ça veut dire. Mais on dit que tu as travaillé combien de temps? J'ai travaillé pendant longtemps. Oui, tu as travaillé. Quel était le début de cette... J'ai travaillé 6 mois ici. Tu montres le rupture de contrat ici pour montrer un autre là. Si tu n'as pas ça, mais tu attends qu'on neutralise ces papiers comment? C'est ça encore notre problème ici. Donc, au diaspora, les femmes ne prennent même pas, ou bien nous aussi, les Africains, les immigrants aussi en général, ne prennent le temps, prennent pas le temps de... Quand on dit l'intégration, c'est quoi? Connaître tes droits dans un pays. Connaître ce que tu dois faire, ce que tu ne dois pas faire. C'est ça on dit intégration. Mélanger avec le système. Pas mélanger avec ta communauté. La communauté que tu es venu trouver, ce n'est pas que je demande les gens de ne pas aller dans les communautés. Avant de mélanger sur votre communauté, la première chose c'est intégrer. Intégrer, ça veut dire quoi? Chercher tes titres de séjour et tes droits. Si c'est vous le travail, cherchez tout ça. Quand tu finis de chercher ça maintenant, allez chercher ta communauté. Quand je suis arrivé ici, je ne mélangeais pas avec les Camerounaises. Dieu merci que mes quartiers, même, tu ne trouvais même pas ces gens-là. Dieu m'a béni que je ne t'aimais pas dans les quartiers, que tu vas voir même les gens là, ou bien beaucoup de noirs. Mais, je ne mélangeais pas parce que je me sentais trop. C'est parce que c'est ce que je veux. Je veux d'abord mes intégrations d'abord. Quand j'avais fini d'obtenir tout ce que j'ai, quand j'ai mis mon nom sur un appartement, et c'est que, oh Clarisse, tu as une adresse, tu travailles. Tu as tout. Là, maintenant, vous me trouvez dans tout ce qui est africain. J'avais suspendu aussi, il faut suspendre aussi cette côté de communauté, donc, la community, là, il faut suspendre ces histoires-là pour le moment quand on veut chercher quelque chose, pour ne pas être distrait. Parce qu'il y a des TikTok, on dit les beaux-ailleurs, comment les beaux-ailleurs veulent quitter avec tout ce risque, tout ce temps-là, pour venir séjourner sur TikTok. C'était même le papier, mais il ne peut pas aller travailler avec ces papiers. L'intégration, c'est sur TikTok. Avant de faire TikTok, fais d'abord la première intégration. Cherchez tes droits et tout comme ça là. Dis que si je suis cela, dans 2 ans, 3 ans, il faut que j'ai mes titres de séjour. Quand tu as ça, tu dis que mais après tes séjours, qu'est-ce qu'il me faut? Le travail. Après le travail, c'est quoi? Il faut avoir mon adresse, mon appartement. Quand tu as un appartement, c'est quoi encore? Tu dis que mais après ça, on m'a donné 10 ans. Est-ce que tu vas rester avec les 10 ans là? C'est un choix. Si tu ne veux pas rester avec ces histoires pour garder ton nationalité, ok, qu'est-ce qu'il me faut maintenant pour avoir? Tu poursuis maintenant une autre neutralisation. Dès que tu as déjà cette, ok, est-ce que j'ai été à l'école en Afrique? J'ai mes diplômes. Je vais transformer tous mes diplômes parce que je ne veux pas travailler en tant qu'un étranger ici. Je vais travailler comme un civil. Quand tu as déjà une neutralisation, tu travailles maintenant avec ton niveau d'études ici, bien reconnu. Tu travailles maintenant comme un boss. C'est comme ça. Il faut rêver. How many people do dream? When they come out from their country, pass through the deserts, all the big sea, cross all through that risk, rape and all whatnot, to come to a country and waste their time. Waste their time on social platform that doesn't pay them, but it's just pure distraction. And it's a negative distraction because they don't even gain anything from it. They don't even make business on that platform. They take their time to create hate, division, war, explosion. We spend our time exposing us, taking all our African secret, how we survive in the diaspora, and talk it in the air. Exposing ourselves, exposing our brother and sister on social media, calling police on them, calling social welfare on them. That's our job. Killing our own brothers and sisters on social media. That's what we are using social media on. Instead of using social media to grow, make research, listen to news, or use it and make business. If it's not Women's Day, when I talk even this today I'm talking about Women's Day, I've put my website. Anybody that's intelligent will go and click my website. If the person cannot listen to what I said today, will just say, but what was she talking about? You go and click my website, and they will get into my virtual office. And you can buy my virtual shop, you can buy. That's what it means. So guys, let's end here today. On s'est dit, peut-être on va commencer lundi encore parce que dimanche c'est demain. Et c'est le journée de la femme. Je pense qu'il va me permettre de faire le live. Demain, c'est une journée de festin. Donc, on va se dire peut-être lundi. Lundi, on va se voir encore. Peut-être lundi, on va parler de business. Partnership. On Monday. On verra. Donc, sur ce, merci beaucoup, fiston. Thanks very much, Marjolaine. Thanks for being there, merci, Marjolaine. Merci d'être là jusqu'à la fin. Merci beaucoup, maman Lily. Merci beaucoup à tous ceux qui étaient là, surtout fiston, c'est le meilleur. L'ouragan n'était pas là, il s'est passé là au travail. Mais quand tu es là, si toi es là, si je vois toi, Sandrine ou bien l'ouragan, je sais qu'ok. Voilà mes petits frères et ceux qui sont là. Donc, je ne me dérange pas, c'est que moi, je ne peux pas rester sans commentaire. Donc, merci d'être là. Merci pour ton anglais que tu as essayé d'écrire. Je vais te commencer, comme tu as commencé là, hein, tu vas me sentir. L'anglais là, je vais t'obliger comme je fais à l'ouragan. Merci d'être exprimé aussi en anglais ce soir. So, guys, thanks for being there to us. Please, enjoy yourself. Do your best feasting. Enjoy your Women's Day, but don't forget the reason for us celebrating Women's Day. Women's Day is not like buying caban or whatnot. It's good to celebrate, but don't forget the objective of it. Don't forget the originality of Women's Day. Think about it. Fight for yourself. Fight for your right. Be determined and make people to understand that your right count. You also count, and they need to give it to you. If you're suffering in your home, let that man, I don't ask you to go and disrespect your man, but fight for your right. Look for your rights legally and go for it. Don't allow anybody to maltreat you. Don't allow men to beat you for no good reason. And you should not also fight your men. That's all I can tell you. So enjoy yourself and let's take good care of ourselves. So bonne soirée, bonne nuit à tout le monde. Merci d'être là pour tous ceux qui étaient là sur les fenêtres et ceux qui m'ont fait le commenter. Merci beaucoup ma petite sœur Marjolaine. Merci beaucoup fiston. Merci beaucoup maman Lily. Merci d'être là. Malgré le fait que vous êtes francophone, et c'est surtout mon fiston qui a essayé d'écrire en anglais. Je suis tellement fière de toi. Merci beaucoup à tous ceux qui étaient là. Merci pour le partage, merci pour le cœur. Donc, c'est dit rendez-vous lundi. Parce que demain, c'est journée de la femme, je ne peux pas, je ne suis pas là. Je serai là, mais pas pour fêter. Donc, et moi, le jour de journée de la femme, pour moi, c'est déjà, je pense que c'est le 28 que j'ai l'invitation. Je suis invitée dans une autre communauté, je vais aller fêter avec eux. C'est le 28, donc c'est là où je vais fêter ma journée de la femme. Donc on s'est dit, bonne fête pour toutes ces femmes-là, mais restez aussi scotchées, restez aussi intelligentes, restez aussi déterminées aussi, respectueux aussi. Quand on dit être soumise, quand on dit soumise, ce n'est pas pour dire qu'on va marcher sur nous. Quand on est soumise, mais ce n'est pas pour dire qu'on va monter sur nos têtes. Quand on dit la soumission, ça veut dire qu'on est les esclaves. La soumission, c'est être respectueuse. Vous comprenez? La soumission, c'est aussi être au moins aimable. Ce n'est pas faire la guerre. Mais on ne doit pas se laisser faire. Ni dans un état, ou bien dans la maison, familiale ou civile. Quelqu'un comme moi là, pour ceux qui me connaissent. Même mon papa m'appelle Margaret Thatcher. Quand c'est le travail, je n'ai pas ami. Quand c'est le travail, le chef là, c'est qu'il y a un employé là-bas. Je ne badine pas. Partout que j'ai travaillé, on a compris que là, ça c'est travail. Non, c'est travail, j'ai fait. J'ai mis mon énergie, mon temps. Et comme j'ai la capacité de mettre mon énergie, le temps, je ne peux pas laisser un nom monter sur ma tête. Jamais. Je les respecte, mais je ne me laisse pas faire. Bonsoir Sandrine, je suis en train de dire au revoir, merci d'être là. Je venais juste de prononcer ton nom, que si tu étais là, quand je vois l'une de toi, fiston, toi ou bien l'ouragan, je suis content, je suis en train de partir. Merci pour le cœur. Donc ne vous laissez pas faire. Soyez humble. Mais être déterminante. Il faut savoir ce qu'on veut. Il faut connaître à nous valoriser aussi. Parce que si on ne nous valorise pas, les hommes ne vont pas nous valoriser. So guys, if you don't know how to value yourself, they won't value you. If you don't respect yourself, nobody's going to respect you. That's why we talk about respecting yourself. For you to have dignity, your respect comes from you first. Your dignity comes from you first. The way you behave, the way you talk, the way you dress, it makes people to respect you. So respect is reciprocal. So enjoy yourself tomorrow, but don't forget to be determined. Enjoy yourself tomorrow. Don't forget that you have a right and that you need to fight for. Don't forget it. You need to be determined. If a man decides to be irresponsible, you need not to stay with an irresponsible man. Because from the Bible, a man will work hard for a woman. Not a woman will work hard for a man. So all those women that goes there and buy young boys to keep in their house, don't maltreat them. The men's pride is always there. Whether the boy is a small boy, poor boy, so a man's power is, you should never go against a man's power. No matter the man's age, a man remains a man. Never go and disrespect them because you think you are going to take an underage boy to be a sugar mommy. No, when you go and take an underage boy, don't forget that a man remains a man. Respect that man. So you have your paperwork on the diaspora. You come from the US, you can pick young boys from Africa. Don't maltreat them. Because if you want those young boys to treat you well, treat them like your son, treat them like your junior brother, treat them like their mother. Treat them well, they will treat you well, they will respect you. But if you go and tell them that, reste là-bas, moi je sais pas travailler, c'est moi qui te donne le kaolo. If you have paper, but you want dignity, don't go and pick somebody's son that does not have paper to come and maltreat. That's why the girls, the boys also will be talking to you, fooling you all the time, and they have younger girls in Africa. As soon as they have the paper from your hand, they dump you to go and pick a younger girl. You start to come and cry on social media. Meanwhile, you are the people doing it. You will not leave your ex-boyfriend that you had in Africa. You came to Europe, live your life, have your paperwork. You go and pick up your ex-boyfriend in Africa. Maybe he's already having kids with a woman. You say, viens. Come and let's stay. I will take you to Europe. Then you take that man, abandon his children there in Africa to come and stay with them. That is another wrong thing for the women that are doing in the diaspora. Stop it. If you think you have your paper and you want to go and pick up a man that does not have paper, be less assured to respect that man. Because at the end of the day, a man remains a man. Whether you want to do what you want to do, equality that people are looking for, there is something that you will never take from a man. A man's pride. The must remain the head of the house, whether you like it or not. If you are the president, Madam President, if you are president in the republic, know that you will respect your man in the house, whether you like it or not. In public as well as in the house, a man remains a man. So give their position to them. It's only when that man does not respect his own, he doesn't take care of his responsibility. If only when that man behave mean to you, beat you, maltreat you, that you can even raise your voice. If not, give them their place. I'm not there to tell you that I'll give you to go against men. No, that's not Clarice. So guys, let's keep it the day and let's say on Monday. Donc, mes amis, merci beaucoup Sandrine. Merci d'être là. Dernière minute, tu sais, tu es dernière cas. Je crois que tu dormais déjà passé ces tâches chez vous. Merci d'être là. Merci fiston. Merci à tous ceux qui étaient là. Merci, on se dit lundi. Je vous aime très bien. T'aime fort. Donc, bonne fête. Fiston, je t'aime très fort. Sandrine, tu es ma petite chouchou. Marjeline, bonne soirée. Marjeline d'amour, merci beaucoup. Ma grande sœur d'amour, maman Lily, bonne nuit. Bonne fête à vous toutes.